Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builders Supply, and this video is to talk about the question, is a radius pivot stile required on the ABH 0128? And for that matter, is it required on the block style as well? Well, let's take a look. So first of all, we have on the item that you're possibly have found this video, or you found it through YouTube, there's a link to the template. We've got that document open here. And there is a note, heel edge of door, see note 3. Note 3 says radius heel edge of door, 1.25 inch max when your door thickness is between 1 3/8 and 2.5 inch. Okay, so to a lot of folks that might be a question that needs needs some additional clarification. Let's take a look at that right now. So what we have is, I have AutoCAD pulled up here, and I have just a typical jam that might be, typical 5-inch, 3/4 inch thick sort of frame. So I'm going to draw in some elements, and we will then take a look at what a radius door edge does. So I'll pause the video while I create those elements. And I've drawn in just simply a door within, two jams, two cased opening jams. Not really concerned about dimensions, not really concerned about the size of anything, but it's all in scale to each other. This door is, 1 3/4 thick. It's 2'11" and 3/4 wide, and it has square edges, is what it is. So the inherent problem in terms of a radiused edge is exactly how this door is going to open. Now, according to the template, they're looking for a 1/16 of an inch margin. And that reference is found right in here, actually. From the vertical axis of pivoting to the edge of the door is 1.25 inches. From the vertical axis of pivoting to the jam, they have it 1 5/16. So that is definitely our our 1/16 of an inch dimension. And that 1 5/16 is going to end up being a very important dimension in just a moment here, that's to be sure. So let's take a look at what we've drawn. I have a 1/16 of an inch margin drawn in here. 1/16 of an inch. And if you recall, our dimension from the jam to the vertical axis of pivoting is 1 5/16. So I'm going to draw just a little reference line here. I'm going to draw in a couple of little helper lines just to somewhat visualize what we're dealing with here. 0.875 would be halfway through the door thickness. Oops. .875. So that's going to be the center line of the door in terms of thickness. And then I'm going to run, I'll leave that there. I could draw a center line mark on that if I had wanted to, but we know that this is going to end up being right at this intersection, is going to be halfway through the door thickness. Then our 1 5/16 line, take that from the jam, come over 1.3125, and right here is where that center point is going to be. Okay, so I'll get rid of this helper line. Center mark. We'll draw a little circle first. Then we're going to add our center point just to help us visualize. Center mark. Okay, there's a center mark. Those dimension lines are a bit larger than we need them to be, that's to be sure. Okay, we'll leave those there. It looks kind of nice. So we know we have a center point right there. And that dimension is 1 5/16 from the jamb to the center of the to the vertical axis of pivoting, centered equally through the door. Now, if we were to leave the door square-edged on the prescribed 1/8 of an inch on the prescribed 1/16 of an inch margin, this is what would happen. You could see that the door would actually never work. And not only would it not work on the hinge side, but it really wouldn't work on the jamb side as either. Because that margin is going to get down to about 40 thousandths of an inch. I mean, a kick plate is thicker than that margin in there. So this really demonstrates what we're dealing with. Now, let's go ahead and put our margin on here, our 1.25 inches. And I'll do this. There's many ways to do this, but I'm going to just do it by drawing a circle. Point 1.25 is going to be our radius. Okay. Now I'm going to clean this up a little bit. Trim. Going through and trimming these items that we don't need. What I had to do was group these objects together a little bit. Now, kind of looks like a door, with the exception just of our center point reference mark. And it just, I think, helps us visualize it a little bit. So, we have trimmed the stile of our door. Let's measure. Yeah, we certainly still have well, let's do this. 1/16 of an inch. That's what it still is. Now let's rotate. Looks nice. And you'll note that our door distance to the jamb never gets below a 1/16 of an inch as we rotate that. It never encroaches because that radius works so well for us, that 1.25 inch radius. Obviously, we're not doing that over on the strike side, but if we did it on the strike side, we'd have that nice, same clean scenario. Now the question becomes is, what if I wanted to leave it square-edged? Let's leave it square-edged. We'll ungroup that. Let's get rid of our circle. What we'll do is let's just simply, I know that we're at a 1/16. I'm going to move this over to 3/16. 3/16 is the margin now. Let's see what we look like when we leave 3/16 of an inch. And I'm just pulling a, I'm tripling the value really. Let's rotate. Let's select the object to rotate. Let's specify our base point. Let's rotate it. When I increase that margin to 3/16 of an inch, it's not nearly as awful as it was, but it's still not going to work. So let's increase that margin to 5/16. Let's do a distance in here. Let's do a quick 5/16 is our margin between the jamb and the door. Let's rotate this object. Select our object, specify the base point. Let's rotate it. Aha, getting a little bit better. But not nearly as cool as when you have a radius door edge. The downside of this is you're leaving a very large gap. And right in about here, when that door is about 45 degrees, is when we're going to be down to a painfully small dimension. Far too close for comfort. So basically from here to here, it's a 1/16 of an inch. So to leave your door square-edged, to maintain a 1/16 of an inch, you've got to increase that gap to 5/16 of an inch. Not ideal, as you can imagine. If you have any questions on this or any other ABH pivot, please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you. Again, thank you for watching, and if you've enjoyed this video, please click thumbs up. Please subscribe and maybe even send the video to someone that you know. Thank you.